All right, it is your boy, the Knologist. Welcome, team. We will be doing the longest palindrome question on Leetcode, obviously. I might do other platforms, but first I want to focus on Leetcode because this is the most used platform, the platform that people are most familiar with. So I want to stick to this type of content. Okay, and we're getting close to our 100 easy videos, so as long as we stay consistent, you're coming along this journey with me, you're gonna get better too. So stick along. You may be surprised at where we will end up at the end of this. So given a string which consists of lowercase or uppercase letters, return the length of the longest palindrome that can be built. Oh, okay. Letters are case sensitive, so S, we get input S is A, B, C, 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 D. Longest palindrome is one that can be built. So let's look at the test cases. Can we add test cases? I just want to see this. So we got test case 1. Test case 2, test case 3, test case 4 is the exact same as test case 3, so it makes no sense to add these two. I could either see this or this. Okay. Letters are case sensitive, so AA is not considered a palindrome. Okay. Okay. So what I could do first is find out all the values where I have even numbers. So if you look here, the C's are all used, right? The D's are all used, and the A is used. The B is not used, right? But you could have easily swapped this A for the B, and you still would have satisfied the condition of the palindrome. So what I'm going to do is, and it says, it gives you a constraint here. You can have a minimum of 1. Return the length of the longest palindrome. So this is what we'll do first. We'll create a base case if len s equals 1. That's the shortest palindrome you can have, a single letter. If len s equals 1, return 1. That is a guaranteed pass. We can run that. We get to see that it passes. I just want to see. Oh wait, it's gotta be indented. So I'm just putting this here as a test value. It doesn't really matter. But do you see how it passes test case 2? Output 1, expected 1, because it's a length of 1. So now we have to attack the next one. So this is what happens if we're beyond a length of 1 string. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna create dictionary stores. You guys know I always call my dictionary stores. It's just because it's the easiest intuitive thing to name it. I believe in like good naming practices. It's like you want to name your variables and your lists and your dictionaries according to the function of what they do, because that way if someone else reads it, or if you come back to it after like 2 months, you can make sense of it through the naming convention. And okay, stores means you're putting stuff in, you're containing a store of information, right? And that's what I plan to do with this dictionary. So now I'm going to go through each letter of S. So for letter in S in the string, if S not in stores, then I go S letter 0, and then I go S letter 0, and then I add S letter plus equals 1. Or stores letter. Stores. No, S letter. S letter equals, if S letter, or if letter, because I'm just going straight off, I don't need indexes. If letter is not in stores, stores, create stores at the letter equals 0. And then I can go stores at the letter plus 1. Okay. So that is if my dictionary entry does not exist. If I don't have a key for it, create a key for it, give it the value 0, and then increment it by 1. Alright, so my purpose of doing this is I want to find all the instances where I have even values, so I could automatically just add that to my palindrome, and then whatever is not an even value, I just add 1 to it. The only tricky part is if I have values that are 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, those are still palindromic, technically. I just made that word up, but that is the concept. Okay, so let's say I go through that. Because if you take 3 letters of the same thing and you flip them, it's still the same thing. I have another idea. So first I can add create stores for all the letters, right? Now that I have all the letters and the counts, I can create, so for example, one, 3, 5, 7. 7 has 3 and 3 on one side. 3 and 3. You can't have two of the odds. You can have one odd, but you can't have two odds. That's the thing. Ooh, I just figured it out. Okay, so this is the way we're gonna do this. I'm gonna create a total. Make it equal to 0. Right? So after I get all my stored values, what I'm going to do next is I'm going to go, then I'm going to return the total at the end. I'm going to go for key val I'm going to create something called largest odd. Largest odd because you can have a bunch of evens. So if your letter is even, like A, like for example this here, CCCC 4, right? You can put that in. DD, right? That's 2. You can put that in, right? Because you can put the D's on one side, you can put 2 C's on one side, and then you need one odd. You can't have 2 odds because now you can't flip it and it'll be the same thing, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to use the logic of the palindrome, which is key val in stores, and then I'm going to say largest odd. I'm going to create a largest odd because I want to find the largest odd value, and that's what I'm going to use to get the max length of my palindrome, because I can only have one odd value. So I'm going to pick the one that's the largest so I can get the largest length. So I'm going to go float I believe it's negative infinity. So negative infinity in Python, how to implement float negative inf. Yeah. So basically, whenever I find a value that's odd, I'm gonna, if it's bigger than negative infinity, I'm gonna swap it, and then whatever subsequent bigger odd number comes, I'm gonna swap it, and then just add it on at the end. That way I don't have to think about the odds. I can automatically just not think about the evens because I can add the evens by default. Right, so this is what I'm gonna do. So key val in stores.items. This is the syntax for iterating through a dictionary. If you want to split the key vals, so now I don't need to look at, I don't even need to know what the keys are. You see what I'm doing here? I'm making it easier for myself. Now that I extrapolate key value pairs, I could just look directly at the values and look at what's odd and even. If it's odd, just add it to the total. If it's even, just add it to the total. If it's odd, then just find the largest one until the end and then add that to the total, right? It's going to be stored in largest odd. So then I'm actually going to create a final, no, I can call it final. I can go to, actually no, I could do like this. I'll just add the largest odd to the end, and that's it. So what I'll do here is key val. So if val %2 equals 0, That's basically saying if it's even, so there's no remainder if you divide by 2's, then you go total plus equals val. Easy. If it's not, else. So now we know it's not. So now that we know it's not, if val is greater than, so this is for odd numbers, so if val is greater than largest odd, if it's equal to, we don't care. So for example, if it's equal to, it's like that DNA, I mean the B and A here, you just pick whatever, it doesn't matter what the fuck you use, because it doesn't affect the length of what you're trying to get. So if val is greater than largest odd, then largest odd equals val. Just make that the new val. Let's assign it. Yes. Okay. So then all we have to do at the end now is we get all the evens that are added up. So for example here we get CC, so that's 4. DD is 2, that's 6. Then we need to add 1 for the odd because that's the largest value, right? There's no other value greater. The B is also 1, so there we get 7. So I'm going to go total plus largest odd. And then that should give us 7. If we were to use this and then to extrapolate it for all the future questions, that's what it will do. So let us run it. And what did that tell you? Let's see. We pass the test cases. We get the 7 like we've done here. So now let's check if it works. What runtime error? Negative inf is not a valid value for integer type. Oh, okay. So if you have only evens, so the way you can get around this is you just look at the test case, right? So this is the test case. If you have only evens, this odd is going to add negative infinity to this. This is what it's telling me. So all I have to do is just create a return value. If my value is even by default, just return that without the largest odd component, because that's going to be negative infinity and we can't use that value. Negative infinity is not an actual quantifiable number for people, right? So we're going to take it out. So if val, or if total %2 equals, actually no, but that is going to eliminate things. Oh, all I have to do is this. If largest odd equals floats negative inf, that means it hasn't been updated because it's probably just an even only. Return total. Let's just return the total as is. Let's run that. That should pass the tests. Submit. That should pass this test. Wrong answer. How could it be the wrong answer? Total plus equals val. I get all my evens. So right now I'm taking every letter, incrementing. Take all my evens. Alright, so it stores them individually. It doesn't matter if they're capital or lowercase. It creates a distinct identifier for each one. And then I'm saying, so where does it fail? 51 out of 97 test cases. So it's obviously passing where it should pass. So that I find this odd now. I find this odd. Oh, does it only have to accept? Output is 55, expect 655, expected 983. Output 655, expected 983. You can only have one odd, otherwise it won't be thing. So I want the largest odd. And then you can have unlimited evens, so you just add evens to the total. This is weird. How much time do I have left? Okay, I'm at 21 minutes, so let's just plug it into ChatGPT. Let's just save time. S consists of uppercase and lowercase English only, so that doesn't matter. I'm using a dictionary, so it shouldn't be an issue. Let's float inf total. Total is just odd. The logic I have is sound, so like that's where I'm kind of missing the point. So maybe it's something I'm overlooking, right? So let's check. Let's check it. So let's go chat. Boom. My code. So my code is this, right? So if my code's this, fix my code. Your approach is on the right track given the length, but let's refine and correct. Okay. What's wrong with it? Frequencies. Okay, so frequencies. Else. If char in list. Okay. Frequency plus equals 1 else. Oh, wait. To be built with those letters. Okay, so frequencies. Else. Oh, is it because I made it 0? Total length is here, that's fine. Okay, so that's still pretty much the same as what I have here. I can keep this. So is there a freak char? Okay, so it's doing the same thing. It also creates a largest odd. Okay, why don't I try just making it 0? I'm just curious. If I make it 0, maybe that I could just leave this as is. Maybe. Let's try. There's no harm to it. Still pass the test cases. Okay, let's try it without diving into ChatGPT yet. I just want to see. Okay, so that was still 655. So there's something wrong with the logic still. Iterate through the frequencies. Okay. Count frequencies dot values. Freak dot values. Okay. So I did key value pairs, which is the same thing. Because I go dot items just in case I want to use the values. You could go dot values. Dot items lets you extrapolate into key or values. Dot items. Dot values lets you just look at the values as it is. So count %2 total length count. Okay, it's doing the same thing I did. Else total length equals count -1. Add even part of the odd count set to 1, because we can use at most one odd frequency. Oh, is that where I went wrong? So you take the odd number, right? You take its count and you minus 1, so you get even. So even if it's 1 minus 1, you get 0. Largest odd equals 1. Set to 1, because at most we can use one odd frequency. I'm just curious then. Does that mean if we have 3 or 7, we can take the 6, use it, and then discard the one that we don't use? That's the tricky part. Maybe that's the reason it's failing. See, that in that case, the instructions aren't very clear. Here string consists return the length of the longest palindrome that can be built with those letters. Oh, so that's exactly what it means. You see, it's not a logic issue. It's more of like the question definition. It's not very clear. So basically, if you do get an odd, it's saying we can take the even number from that odd, right? So if it's 1, obviously that's gonna be 0, right? And we could just add the 1 later on. We're making largest odd 1. Largest odd can never be more than 1, but we can extrapolate all the evens from it. So if it's 7, I can take 6 from that 7 and it counts as an even, basically. That's what it's saying here, and we add this to the count. And then we just make largest odd 1 and satisfy that. You see what's happening here? So no matter how many odds you have, right? You can have unlimited odds. All you're gonna do is take one of the odd letters. It doesn't matter which. It could be A, B, C, right? But I'm taking all the evens and still using it. So what I'm doing here, all I have to do to modify what I already have is if value is greater than largest odd. So if it says else, I have an else condition here. Right now, a largest odd, I don't need to make, I can make it 0. So it's gonna be 0 as is. All I have to do to change it, all I have to do to change this is just a misconception with the question definition, is go here. So if I have the largest odd number, I could still take the total equals value minus 1. So even if it's 1, it becomes 0, and I add plus equals 0 to the total, so it doesn't affect me. But I can make largest odd equals 1. That means from now on, if any other odds are there, that's always going to be 1, and I can take all the evens from it. Let's try it. It's going to pass, and it's probably going to pass this. You see, it beats 93.1%. I didn't have to use the rest of their solution. Well, if you trace their solution, they did exactly what I did. The only thing is this little portion down here was different because it goes back to the question definition, right? So they did extrapolate all the evens from these strings of odds. So you could have 7, I take the 6. You could have 9, I take the 8. You could have 11, I take the 10. But I always make largest odd 1. You see what's happening? And that way, you beat 93.1% of solutions, right? So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and comment below. Thank you.